Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday the 9th of November comes to you from New York City. I'm here seeing clients this morning, and so we start by looking at the dollar, and dollar just falling away quite sharply at the moment. We see here just having quite a sell-off this morning, so maybe we're just hitting some resistance here on the lagging line on the medium-term trend. So the dollar's just looking short-term bearish at the moment. But of course the key thing is we don't have much work to do to wander out of this and make this transition. So we are just seeing a pullback in the dollar. We're still above the levels that we were a week ago, but it is looking weaker this morning, and the euro looking stronger, having made this transition. But again, we have got this chart with new lows as well, so we might be just finding support here on the cloud. So euro dollar very much in transition, and we need to keep an eye on that. Japanese yen, we see the dollar weakening here as well. And if we look at sterling, we see sterling has really been flat over the last few days, but really just nudging this 130 level all the time. Prices coming out through below the cloud, but relatively inactive the last couple of days. Against the euro, sterling, much the same picture, just struggling there a little bit. Against the Australian dollar, we see sterling is also just moving against the Swiss franc, sorry, moving lower, and against the Australian dollar also just moving a bit lower, but relatively flat at the moment. US stock markets holding their own. We're just now nudging this 2600 level on the S&P 500. We've got targets, of course, to 2700, much higher. 2613 is the short-term target, and 2780 is the long-term target. So several more percentage points upside. Looking at the NatGas, also moving higher, looking bullish on all three time frames, and closing again at a new high yesterday. So we are just seeing that constantly edging up. The Dow also looking strong. The Russell 2000 index is the weakest of the indices, so we are just seeing a broad-based. The strength in the US market is not broad-based, as we see in the top 2,000 stocks here. The S&P future down just under 0.5% this morning, and the Nasdaq E-mini also in New York also just down a bit this morning, but still looking bullish on the charts here. FTSE 100 is down 0.5% and back into bearish territory in the short term, as is the FTSE 250. We're seeing nearly 1% fall away here. The DAX actually just having a little bit of a weaker session last few days. DAX has been selling off, but we have had a very strong run in the DAX on the weaker euro. The Nikkei also making multi-year highs, I mean like 25-year highs, so we are seeing the Nikkei just pulling back a little bit from that as well. Hang Seng still looking bullish above the cloud on all three time frames, and Shanghai also looking pretty good, and the Indian stock market still looking strong on all three time frames as well. The Australian market holding its strength, having had an amazing run the last several weeks. Brent crude still above the $60 level, quite convincingly around $63. So crude is actually looking the strongest it has done in a good couple of years, and WTI also looking strong, holding above the cloud as well. US NatGas jumped over the last few days, and we're really just seeing now a re-rating above $3 quite convincingly. So for the first time in a while, we're starting to make multi-month highs on US NatGas, so that is looking better on all three time frames. Copper has actually just been falling a little bit over the last few days, so we are just seeing a retracement back there. And if we go straight to gold, gold is back into the mid 280s, looking stronger on the short-term chart, and the medium-term and long-term charts holding on. So gold is still looking fairly bullish on all three time frames there, and silver also just looking a little bit higher. Taking a look at US Treasury yields, sitting at this 2.33% area, just starting to wander through on the short-term time frames there. Apple looking very strong, still holding its gains of the last few weeks. Amazon also, Google looking strong. Amazon also looking very strong, holding above there. Facebook just selling off a little bit yesterday, so we are just seeing that just struggling at this 180 level. And Microsoft fairly flat over the last week since its big jump in price as well, but holding the gains, that's the key thing. That's it for today from here in New York. See you tomorrow. Happy charting. See you then.